We're all familiar with the concept of the before and after picture. It could be makeup, teeth, hair, whatever you want, but here's a before and after picture that you maybe haven't seen yet. What you see here are two team shot charts, but what perhaps isn't as discernible is that these charts actually come from the same team, just in different years. On the left is the 2022-23 Kentucky Wildcats shot chart, and on the right is this year's Kentucky shot chart. As you can see, there's been a pretty drastic change. Kentucky has cleared up all that unwanted mid-range fat from its shot diet, and they've replaced it with a heavy dosage of three-point shooting and high-quality rim looks. And so far, the results have been extremely promising. At the current moment, Kentucky ranks 5th nationally in offensive efficiency per Bart Torvik, and the Wildcats are also shooting a blistering 42.6% from 3, which ranks 2nd in the country. While Kentucky isn't a total stranger to efficient offense, they finished top 10 nationally as recently as 2022, the way they've gone about constructing a prolific offense has been different, and dare I say, much more reliable. You see, the last few seasons, Kentucky's offense was focused on big man Oscar Tshiebwe, and that brought a unique set of benefits and challenges. While Kentucky's offense was solid with Tshiebwe, it was mainly due to his relentless work on the offensive glass. During his time as a Wildcat, Kentucky finished no lower than 2nd in the country in offensive rebounding rate, and that masked a lot of inherent flaws within their offense. Despite having a good enough offense on the surface, Kentucky really struggled when it came to embracing modernity. They were an average three-point shooting team and took an extremely low amount of them. They didn't get to the free throw line a whole lot, and they didn't really play with a lot of pace. In the NCAA tournament, those issues came back to bite them. In 2022, Kentucky lost to 15 seed St. Peter's in the first round, where they only made 4 threes in the entire game, compared to 9 from the Peacocks. And in 2023, they were able to get past Providence in the first round, but ultimately fell short to Kansas State, where they once again only knocked down 4 threes. Now let's look at this year, where in comparison to their last 2 tournament losses, Kentucky's lowest number of three-point makes in a game is 5, which is an outlier considering they've made at least 8 in every other game this season. And what helps with that is having a bevy of knockdown shooters, as 4 guys on the current roster shoot over 38% from deep, while each attempting over 40 threes on the season. For reference, the last time Kentucky even came close to that mark was in 2011, and even then it wasn't at the volume we're seeing now. Freshmen Reed Sheppard and Rob Dillingham and veterans Antonio Reeves and Trey Mitchell combined to shoot nearly 18 threes a game, and in Sheppard's case, he's shooting at a record-setting level, knocking down an unfathomable 56% of his attempts, which leads the country among players who average over 4 attempts per game. Sheppard's an elite offensive force because of how smart he plays, and the feel he has when it comes to maneuvering to his spots and getting shots off both on and off the ball is second to none. And what's even crazier is that he's doing all of this off the bench as well. Speaking of coming off the bench, Rob Dillingham has also only started once this year, but he might be the most important piece in Kentucky's offensive revolution, because not only is he hitting close to 45% of his threes, but he's also been the driver of a significant increase in pace for the Wildcats so far, as Kentucky is around the 30th fastest playing team in the country, which is a massive uptick considering they were ranked outside the top 250 in that stat last year. Dillingham might be the fastest player with the ball in America, and his ability to find shooters and rim runners in transition gives Kentucky a legitimate offensive element that they simply didn't have last year. With Dillingham on the floor, Kentucky's offensive rating is a blistering 130 points per 100 possessions, which would be the country's most efficient offense by around 2 full points. While Sheppard and Dillingham are perhaps the most representative of Kentucky's offensive facelift, it's also important to highlight Antonio Reeves, who is in his second year at Kentucky and now leads the team in scoring at 19 points a game, while improving his field goal percentage by over 10 points compared to last season. While some of this can be chalked up to individual improvement, I think a lot of it has to do with just how much better this Kentucky team gels offensively and how easily he can get to his shots. And this is becoming clear with the entire team, as Kentucky is taking less difficult shots from more efficient spots. Per shot quality, Kentucky takes around 80% of its shots from either at the rim or from 3, and while that's still slightly below Division I average, it's a marked improvement over the 70% rate they posted last year and the dreadful 65% clip they had in 2022. And my guess would be that number continues to creep up as the team sees more success. So through the first 2 months of the season, Kentucky's offense has been elite. Almost too elite. And while I expect some of the gaudy individual shooting numbers to come down over the course of SEC play, I think the non-conference season has, in totality, been extremely encouraging for the Wildcats, as they've embraced a modern offense and they finally have the personnel to execute it at a high level. While this team is pretty young, I think the overall level of talent, combined with the increased reliability that comes with running a modern offense, makes Kentucky a very tough out in the NCAA tournament. Thanks so much for watching, and give me your thoughts below.